Hey guys, Jacob here. This is another 1.8.2 video. This video is going to be a discussion on 1.8.3, or what's going to be the next meta, or what is the next meta. We won't know yet until the 1.83 drops, but now it's been confirmed that Striker is going to get nerfed. A lot of people saying, oh, it's not going to get nerfed, it's too good, they won't nerf Pred, but look what they did. They turned around and nerfed Pred, and they nerfed Nomad, and most likely, well, now, Striker's going to get nerfed. I don't know how they're going to change it, but we'll see once they release it. But this is going to be a few gear sets I think will be up there with the new meta. Okay, number one on my list, which I'm going to go ahead, which you guys probably know, which is my favorite gear set in this whole game, which is Banshee. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's the look. I don't know if it's just because you can run on the DZ with it, and it hits pretty decently hard. I've been using this build since it came out. I don't know why. It's probably my number one go-to build, no matter what. Unless I'm doing PvE, then I'd probably use something like Lone Star or Striker. But the reason I think Banshee is probably going to be one of the best is that because you still get decent damage if you're not Rogue, but if you are Rogue, then you're going to lose a little bit of damage. But personally, I think if you set it up correctly, like I have in a few of my videos, you guys will see that the build shreds through people. You can hit over 30k crits on someone who's not Rogue. Since they have the Manhunt rank 5 and you're not Rogue, you should be able to shred through them instantly and hit those crits and kill them. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's pretty OP for people who are not Rogue. Everybody will probably start running that. And the problem with the Banshee IC is that it doesn't really give you a lot of benefits when you're not Rogue, but I think if you could combine some of the firearms and your stamina and have a solid team, you should be able to shred through people. The build I usually run is around 7k and 5k or 6. It depends on if I'm on a team or not. And you can shred through rogues very quickly, but if they're not rogue, you can still shred through them since you have the damage out of cover. Personally, I think this build, if you want to get manhunts, you could have someone in the back with this build and then get the smacks while you kill people, and you can get your manhunt insanely fast. But what's going to happen is that the health you have on your build, on the Banshee build, is not going to be as strong as a Striker or as a Nomad, so you're absolutely going to get shredded by players. But I still think this build is probably one of the top ones that I think will probably be up there. Number two on my list is Alfre Bridge. This is just a personal preference. I know it's stamina. I think I got mine up to 26k on the damage, if I remember correctly. I haven't used it in a while, but that's the last time I checked. It was at 26k. And I used it in Last Stand and Skirmish and a little bit in the Dark Zone. And I shredded through people in Last Stand like they were nothing. I went to the Dark Zone, I got killed a few times, but I still was melting people with it. But you have to set it up correctly, and if you don't run with a team, you're going to absolutely get shredded. The problem with Alfre Bridge also is that there's no health regen unless you're not in combat, so you're actually losing, or you're not gaining any health from shooting anything unless you run predatory on your gun. The best thing with Alfre Bridge, though, you're getting 4 talents, so that's one advantage you have over someone. Say you have a house that has deadly, vicious, and responsive, or my bad. So you have deadly, vicious, and card counter responsive. So you have all 4 of those talents, and someone has 3 talents. Say someone's using a Striker, and they're hitting you with the stack. Sure, they're going to hit you with that damage, but say you have deadly, responsive, and unforgiving. That 25%, once you're almost dead, will kick in, plus the damage you already have, then you should be able to shred right through them. There's never going to be a case saying, oh, if I had Alfre Bridge, I would have killed this dude. Or if I had, was running a different town, I could have killed this dude. Alfre Bridge has to be, you have to use it in a team, or if you're using it in Skirmish, because you're going to absolutely get shredded with this build. But personally, I think it's probably one of the hardest hitting builds in the game, but it's also one of the more team-based relied builds. Number 3 on my list, which a lot of you guys probably already guessed, is Nomad. Personally, I think Nomad is going to make a comeback, even if since it's not the 6-piece. I think people are going to be using this a lot more with Bears or Savage Gloves. Good example would be my buddy Cray, which if he's watching this, he shreds through people with his damn Nomad. You guys should go check it out. He has a build video on it. That build, or Nomad in general, I think just with the one proc, can shred through players. Proc is basically a safety net, as he puts it, so that way if you're almost dead and you play like you don't have the If you play like you don't have the proc, you will most likely succeed and kill people. But if you get in a large group and people are fighting you and you need that proc, it's there. Plus, if someone has a recovery link for you. So basically, you don't have to waste a recovery link and you have an extra proc just to keep you alive if you absolutely need it. For example, say you have Manhunt, you're running through Midtown and those asshole NPCs that everyone hates that hit like a truck hit you. Then if you're almost dead, then your Nomad proc will pop and it will save you. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with Nomad at the moment besides if you're solo. I think they made it perfect that way. When you're solo, you get the procs, which I think it should be. But I still think that the build is still pretty good even without all the procs since you have the one. And I still think it hits pretty decently if you have the firearms and the right gear pieces like Barrett or Savage on it and the right talents on your gun. But the problem with Nomad is once those procs are gone, you don't really have nothing to rely on. You have to rely on just your pure strafing and aiming, just like the old gold builds, because you know you're not really getting anything unless you kill someone and smack them. You get the health on kill, which can save your ass. Number 4 is going to be obviously Predator, which I guess Predator's not that great anymore. Well, I think Predator will possibly make a comeback, mostly because no one's gonna be running around Striker anymore. I just think that you'll be seeing it a lot more, and you'll be getting hit by bleed a lot more, mostly just because people aren't running it. Because Striker, we don't know what they're gonna do yet to it, but I think Predator will be able to bleed a lot easier people because obviously the bleed's still pretty lethal, and people are not going to be running Showstopper and Striker if they nerf the shit out of it. They'll mostly result back to Pred just to go around and bleed people. So I don't know. I don't think that build will be at number 1. I don't know if any of these builds will be at number 1. Personally, Striker could still be number 1 even if they nerf it. We don't know yet. Let me just get that away and tell you guys that now. But these are a few builds I think that will be a little bit more used at 1.8.3. An honorable mention that I'm going to say is the Ninja Bag. Ninja Bags I still think are being used a lot more since they nerfed Pred and Nomad's not being used as much, but you can make insanely hard-hitting builds with the Ninja Bag if you know how to put it together, right, with the right sets, the right talents. For example, you can run Banshee, which is Banshee and Pred obviously, and hit like a truck and kill people. But only problem that is, though, you're going to have to spec in a decent amount of firearms to be able to shred through people those builds, since you don't have the stacks Nomad has, or the bleed Pred does, or the healing from Striker. You're not going to be able to just rip through people, or have the 4 talents Alfre Bridge has. Unless you use Alfre Bridge, I guess you could use 3-piece Alfre Bridge and get it, but you're going to be losing a lot of damage or losing just the crazy 6-piece bonuses from the sets. So you're only going to be able to use the 4 sets. But that's really about it for some of the builds I think that will be number 1. Well, not number 1 necessarily, but that will be at the top of the chain when the new update comes out. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but personally, I just think that's how it's going to be. But there's always a high chance that Striker will be king no matter what they do to it. But that's just me. I think they'll probably make it where your stacks are half or some shit where you can't stack as much damage, but we won't know until the update comes out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit longer and I talked a little bit too much, but I'm just kind of speaking my mind, telling you guys what I think will be the new meta. As always, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed.